Design is sometimes wrong understood by people, and they think it's something more like a makeup you put on the top of something, and this is not what a designer is doing. My name is Viviana, I'm a product designer and I've been working for Coder Society since 2018. In the next years, the UI and UX would be something that users take for granted. So it's not a question whether it's good design or not, it's something which has to be there. So if somebody takes an app which is not working or is complicated, they will just delete it. People won't be using products which are not working perfectly. And now we are still in this transition where there's good products and bad products, but I see in the future this would not be a question. I like a lot UI because it's very visual, but also the UX is very important because it's what product design is. You have to know for whom you're designing, and you design for the users. So if you don't match that and you don't do user research, then the UI is not anymore important. You have to get to know who are the users, so for whom you're designing, and also if you prepare a prototype, then that you can test it with real people to know how do they navigate through the website or through the application, and whether everything is understood as you thought. So if you create a small MVP and you test your ideas very quick with a user testing, then you can know whether you want to spend the next 3 months developing a product or not. At the end, it saves money. If a client would like to run a small user testing in-house, there are some tools, some programs like Lookback, for example, where you can film the users and you can also record the screen of the phone. And you can also just recruit 5 people, bring them in the room, show them a prototype, and then you can see how do they navigate. And with that you can collect the data, like the quantitative and qualitative, if there's some also surveys. And also you can give them some goals, like could you find this? You give them a task, a defined task. If you see that they get lost in the way, it's like, okay, it's not working. I like a lot some apps, for example, Airbnb or like Spotify, or these apps which really made a change in the way people live. Like before Spotify, we used to buy CDs for listening to music, and then this service or product came, and then people started streaming music. And the same with Airbnb, the service they offer changed the way people live. I remember back in the days, like 10 years ago, when I was working with Photoshop for doing design, the gap between designers and developers was very big. But nowadays, with the Sketch and all these new tools, it's getting closer. Designers nowadays work more systematically, like we have these libraries, and we work closer to developers. So I think the workflow changed a lot because of that as well.